Hey everybody, first off, yeah, I look a little different, okay? This video is going to be geared mostly towards healthcare workers, but anyone who wears masks a lot is going to be dealing with a lot of the same problems. So today we're going to be talking about acne caused by your mask. So if this is your first time to my channel, hi everybody. My name's Ricky. I'm a master esthetician in the state of Virginia. I've been working in the skincare industry for about 6 years, including in a dermatology practice. I currently don't work in a dermatology practice though. So I had this request on Facebook actually. I have a lot of healthcare workers in my family, and this has been a common complaint since I started this channel, is people asking me personally, like, when are you going to talk about my mask causing me acne at work? And I was like, okay. I had to think about it a little bit to formulate a plan about how to explain it, but I think I've got it down. So when you're dealing with acne that's not caused by hormonal imbalances or bad skin care, you're not clogging your pores with bad makeup or bad skin care routine, then the next culprit is going to be what I call exposure acne. So exposure acne is when something you're doing in your lifestyle is leaving a lot of bacteria on your skin and causing acne that way. So normally when we talk about exposure acne, I'm usually referring to athletes who are sweating a lot, people who work on the phone and they're touching that dirty phone to their face all the time. It can also be unclean linens. You know, if you're not washing your pillowcases enough, or you're not changing your bed sheets, or you're not cleaning your towel that you use in the bathroom often enough, those can all be contributing factors to exposure acne. So in a healthcare setting now, what's happening is people who work in hospitals or clinics or whatever are wearing one mask all day long, or taking on masks and putting them on and off all day long. My cousin actually said she's double masking, so she has an N95 mask on all day long during her shift, and then she's putting disposable masks on top for each individual patient. So the reason that's causing acne is because you're creating a warm, moist environment over part of your face, and bacteria love moisture and warmth. And then on top of that, because you're decreasing airflow, not as much oxygen is getting onto the surface of your skin. And the acne that cause bacteria are anaerobic. So they actually don't like oxygen. Oxygen kills the bacteria that cause acne. So that's the reason why benzoyl peroxide and hydrogen peroxide based products have an anti-acne effect, is because they're forcing more oxygen under the pores in the skin. So I wanted to come up with a strategy for those people who work in healthcare or who are wearing masks a lot out in public and getting acne as a result from that. So I decided to break it up into parts. So we're going to have what you need to do before you put your mask on, what you need to do the moment you get home, and then what you need to do before you go to bed. So before you put your mask on, I'm going to recommend the types of products that hold moisture or prevent it from collecting. So things that are going to be either a clay base, like a kaolin clay, or something that has some silica in it. Silica, I mean, it's a fancy word for sand, but it has properties that are going to prevent moisture from collecting. It's going to be an uphill battle if you're wearing a mask all day long. I get it, you know. The moisture that's coming out through your breath is going to collect under the mask, as well as possibly some perspiration. Acne also loves perspiration. So here's my plan that I've suggested. So one of my favorite sunscreens, actually, I have really oily skin, so I already had this in my arsenal anyway, is the Roche-Posay Anthelios Clear Skin Dry Touch Sunscreen. So this sunscreen is waterproof, and then because it has that silica in it, it has a mattifying effect on the skin. So that's usually why I wear it. But for someone that's dealing with mask acne, I'm suggesting this as something to put on before you go to work. If you decide to wear makeup, another option that I have at home. Now this is a tester, so it's not the same container as you would get for retail. The Jane Iredale Absence Primer. Now this one is completely a silica base to it, so it's actually, yeah, can you see it on camera? Yeah, a little bit. So it's actually a white paste, and you use a spatula to collect it. You don't stick your finger directly into the jar to keep it hygienic. So you use your little spatula. You can emulsify it on your fingertips and apply it that way. I have this on right now, actually. Or you can collect it with a spatula, emulsify it on a flat foundation brush, and put that on before your foundation. So this, since it is pure white, this is really only if you're going to wear makeup before you put on your mask. I wouldn't put this on by itself, unless you're okay with having half your face look like a ghost. I mean, if you're wearing a mask all day, I don't care. Another suggestion, I don't have it on me personally. There's a cream called Sebasorb, Sebasorb, Sebasorb. So that one is a clay base. It has a little bit of kaolin clay in it. The cream itself is actually a tiny bit orange. So you would take the tiniest little amount of it and put it just where your mask is going to go. Now, all three of those suggestions are going to be at the very end of your skincare routine, but before you put your mask on. The reason you want those on last as opposed to middle or beginning is because that silica has a drying effect. It kind of counteracts your moisturizer, so you want to make sure all your moisturizer is put on before you use any of those mattifying products. So that would be somewhat protective of the humidity getting too bad underneath your mask. It's not going to be 100%. I don't expect it to be 100%. I would suggest not doing any of your anti-acne products until you get home at the end of the day, and I'll explain why. If you're in a scenario where you're taking off masks and putting on disposable ones multiple times a day, you can also use those little blotting papers that you can get at the drugstore just to help wick away that excess moisture. Obviously, clean your hands really well before you start touching your face with those sorts of things, especially if you're doing it while you're at work. When you come home from your shift, if you're a healthcare worker, they're already recommending that when you come home, the first thing you do is wash your hands, take off all your clothes, and go take a shower. So if you're dealing with particularly bad mask acne, I mean, I can't see you through this webcam, so, it just depends. If your acne is bad enough, I would suggest using a 5% benzoyl peroxide face wash while you're in the shower. Now, normally I don't recommend washing your face in the shower. The reason I say for benzoyl peroxide based face washes to use them in the shower is because peroxides do have a bleaching effect on fabrics. So using them in the shower is going to be the best way at preventing you from staining your shirts and your pillowcases and your towels, unless you only wear white when you go to bed. That's the other option. White t-shirt, white pillowcase, white towel. You could put on a benzoyl peroxide spot treatment and not worry about it. Or you could wash your face at the sink with a benzoyl peroxide face wash and not worry about it. That's up to you. That's a personal choice. I myself have ruined several pillowcases not really thinking about it and using benzoyl peroxide. So, lesson learned. So, if you are going to do that and wash your face in the shower, don't use the hottest water. Hot water is way too drying on the skin. So, that's one suggestion. The other thing I would suggest could be those little oxygen patches. They started in Korea, but they're starting to make some that are made in America now. So they're these like little silicone patches. I don't have one on me, unfortunately. And you actually just pop them over your zits. Now I have one zit right here, but it's on its way out, so I can't really demonstrate. But you would basically put those on before you go to bed. And then in the morning, it usually does help dramatically with shortening the duration of the pimples. Any other acne suggestions? I'm entirely open to that, whatever you want to use. If you decide that you want to use salicylic acid, do that at night. If you're going to use a spot treatment, I would suggest something that's either going to have a sulfur base to it or a tea tree base to it. because those are spot treatments that are not going to bleach your pillowcase. But if you're going to decide to use a white pillowcase, go ahead and use a benzoyl peroxide based spot treatment. This is me from the future. I forgot to mention that Differin Gel is also over the counter. That's another option for treating acne at home. It used to be a prescription, so it's a retinoid similar to Retin-A. It's a gel. You can put that on after you wash your face at night, but before putting on your night cream. And then also, if you're using a retinol cream, just over-the-counter retinol, that also has a slight anti-acne effect, although those are usually sold as anti-wrinkle creams. And then the other thing, since this is a stressful time going on in our lives right now, there is the possibility that your stress in your life is also weakening the natural immunity in your skin, and that's contributing to your acne. So I would make the same sort of suggestions I would make to a teenager that's dealing with acne. You're going to have to try to de-stress in your life, you know, find some passions outside of work, going for walks, spending some time alone if that's what you need, meditation. You know, do something for yourself in these trying times, because if you're working 18-hour shifts, I get it. You come home, you're exhausted, but if you're not finding some sort of healthy outlet for the stress in your life, it's going to show up on your face. It's unfortunate. And then other things, healthy lifestyle. I'm not the kind of esthetician that's going to tell you to cut out certain foods to improve your acne, but I do say garbage in, garbage out. If you're eating poorly and you're not exercising, if your life is just revolving around work, it's going to show up on your face. So the healthier lifestyle you can maintain with proper diet, proper exercise, it will improve your complexion as well. Now, there are going to be some acne gadgets that you can find on the market. I've seen the blue LED face masks are getting really popular now. They look like torture devices. Those little white face masks with the lamps on the inside. Those do have an actual benefit. Blue light in particular has an antibacterial benefit for acne. Those you put on at night, you wash your face, put on the LED face mask for about 8 to 15 minutes, and then you take the mask off and then use the rest of your skincare routine. You can also find LEDs in these little discs. There's like a handheld one. I don't have one on me again. They're like a little handheld one with a little disc of lights. Sometimes they spin, sometimes they just glow, and you turn them on and hold them up against where the acne is bad. Same thing, you want to do it around 8 minutes. That's usually the sweet spot. So my favorite gadget for acne I have at home. This is one that I'm going to demonstrate in a video on its own because I want to really take some time to explain it. It's the high frequency one. So estheticians usually use this in a treatment room, but you can find them for home use as well. I nickname it the zit zapping wand. When you turn it on, it makes a pretty loud buzzing sound. Put it up against the microphone. But anyway, this is another trick for killing the bacteria that cause acne, but I'm going to dedicate a video just to that, so stay tuned. So if you liked what you saw here and you want to stick around and watch some more, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also hit the bell if you want instant notifications whenever I post. I'm going to try to be once a week. I can't guarantee that. I am going to be going back to work full-time soon, so fingers crossed that I can find a healthy workflow going forward. You can also follow me on social media. My Instagram handle is Ricky Dementia. That's RIKIDEMENTIA, like the disease, Ricky Dementia. That's where I'm going to be the most active. And then you can also follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is NerdyEsthetic, NERDYESTHETIC. And I will see you guys in the next one. Pardon me.